This audio is brought to you by Muslim Central. Please consider donating to help cover our running costs and future projects by visiting www.muslimcentral.com/donate.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له في علاه ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله الذي اصطفاه اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وترحم وتحنن على عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وبعد. فيقول الله عز وجل: وما كان المؤمنون لينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. ويقول أيضا: هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. وعن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال: يحمل هذا العلم من كل خلف عدوله ينفون عنه تحريف الغالين وانتحال المبطلين وتأويل الجاهلين. The topic that I've been given to speak about says the keys to the treasures and the responsibilities of knowledge. Now that's a bit of a wide topic. And in view of the time, doctors made it very clear to me, no more than 5 minutes extra. So in deference, we'll have to condense these two topics into one. Instead of speaking about the keys of knowledge as a separate one and the responsibilities of knowledge as a separate issue, let's condense them into one topic: responsibilities of knowledge. First and foremost, within every Muslim society, there exists the need for preserving knowledge. Our community here in the southernmost tip of Africa, the area which I prefer to call the Guantanamo way of 300 years ago, where they took you to when you were a troublemaker in your area and they want you to be as far away as possible from your own area. They take you there, in the middle of nowhere, in the southernmost tip of the dark continent, where you won't be able to do much, where you won't be able to influence anyone, and where it is hoped that within a short space of time you will lose your religion. In this particular part of the world, Allah Ta'ala has made it such that all of these students of all of these institutions are studying the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How does that come about? That was because within every generation of Muslims that lived in these parts, there were men who dedicated and devoted themselves to the task of preserving knowledge. As long as knowledge is going to be preserved, deen will be preserved. When knowledge is no longer preserved, deen will disappear as well. At the same time, when people were being brought to this outpost of the world, they were taken elsewhere as well. So many hundreds of thousands of slaves were taken, captured in West Africa, taken over to North America, South America. What has happened to them? Their deen was completely lost. Because they were never given the opportunity to create the structures within their society to preserve and perpetuate knowledge. Once knowledge cannot be preserved, once those structures cannot be created for society to preserve its religion and the knowledge of that religion then religion will disappear as it has disappeared there. This part of the world Allah Ta'ala is blessed by placing within every generation men of the caliber of Sheikh Yusuf, Twanguru, Abu Bakr family, and our own ulama that have preceded us very recently. In every generation there have been men placed who looked after the preservation of knowledge. If it wasn't Sheikh Yusuf's earliest madrasa in Nakramat in Fori, then it was the madrasa of the Awal Masjid al-Natwanguru. Then it was the school of Abu Bakr Effendi. Then it was the various madaris that we have and the institutions that continue to preserve that task up to the present day. These are the ones that are responsible for the preservation of knowledge. You are the people who are preserving deen. You are the people who are preserving Islam in this part of the world. If you disappear, there won't be any Islam any longer. This tells you the importance of institutions of deen. Therefore, how many should there be? The more, the merrier. Have as many of them as possible, because the more we preserve, the more our deen will remain alive. This is the importance of ilm, the importance of talabul ilm, the importance of ta'aleem, of transmitting generation after generation. Our history teaches of that particular lesson. Having understood, inshallah, then the importance of having these institutions, now we come. What do we do in these institutions? We access the legacy of Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He has come to this world. He has brought us something. يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ. There was a time when he recited the Quran to us. What was received by him had to be passed along to others. بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً نَضَّرَ اللَّهُ امْرَأً سَمِعَ مَقَالَتِي فَوَعَاهَا وَأَدَّاهَا كَمَا سَمِعَ فَرُبَّ مُبَلَّغٍ أَفْقَهْ مِنْ سَامِعٍ. In this way, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam encouraged all of us to continue, the entire ummah, to continue the task of transmitting this knowledge. When we access that knowledge then, having understood inshallah the importance of it, then together with the manner in which we engage in the preservation of knowledge, there are a number of points that one needs to take care of. Those are the ones that I will identify as the keys to the treasures. The responsibility of the student of ilm, of the purveyor of knowledge, of the one who presents it and preserves it and passes it on to others. You've got two responsibilities. The one is your initial responsibility, the other one is your eventual responsibility. Initial responsibility, the day you complete your matric or standard 5 or 8 or whatever it might be, and you decide that I'm going to study deen. There are a set of responsibilities that start from there onwards. The day you embark upon your search for knowledge. And the day you graduate, then another set of responsibilities start thereafter. So initially it is the responsibilities of the student, and thereafter it becomes the responsibility of the graduate. Once you've graduated, what do you do thereafter? These two responsibilities, first the keys, and thereafter what do you do with those keys? Often it happens that you're given a key and you never utilize it to open the treasures. That is a waste. Everything that has come up to that moment, whatever has been imparted to you at that moment, if it is not used to take it further and fulfill and bring to fulfillment the search for knowledge, then it has been a wasted exercise. So we will touch upon inshallah both sides. Initially, your responsibility as a student, everything starts from where? From إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. Your first and foremost responsibility to be somewhat edifying about it. It starts off from ikhlas. Now these are points upon which others perhaps have touched or will touch. We won't, and definitely in your studies, you come across this hadith and you've been given the sharh of the hadith and commentary upon it. It is not for me to dilate upon it, but merely to draw your attention to it. It is difficult within 45 minutes to cover what we normally do in 6 years, or 5 years, or 4 years, whatever it might be. The preparation of a student to go out into the world and be the alim of deen and preserve deen through his activities is something which we cannot possibly, imaginably condense into 40 minutes. So we'll just touch upon a few topics here and there. The moment you decide to go and study deen, check your niyyah. What is the niyyah? Why have you decided? If you have decided to take up this path on account of the prestige that is attached to the name of an alim, forget it, this is not for you. Don't do something else. If you have decided to take up this path in order to preserve Allah's deen, وَلِتَكُونَ كَلِمَةُ اللَّهِ هِيَ الْعُلْيَا, Bismillah, by all means go ahead. Check the niyyah first of all. Having done that, your second point is that where do you receive that knowledge from? Knowledge of deen, the ma'lumat, the factual knowledge about deen, you can get anywhere these days. You can have it from a Muslim as well as from a non-Muslim. You can have it at a university as well as a traditional madrasa. But in this deen of ours, we've been taught by our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and by the Salaf al-Salih that إِنَّ هَذَا الْعِلْمَ دِينٌ فَانْظُرُوا عَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. You take your knowledge from that person whose heart is imbued with iman, whose heart is imbued with the love of Allah Ta'ala and the love of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If that is not there, do not take knowledge from there, as correct or incorrect as the knowledge might be. But if the heart is not imbued with those particular qualities, do not take knowledge from there. وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. There's going to be no obedience to any such person. So therefore, the source of knowledge. Now your source of knowledge is going to be one of two. It's going to be initially the teacher from whom you receive the knowledge, and on top of it, the book from which that knowledge is going to be studied. Books are many. It is the responsibility of the teacher to see that in the ikhtiyar, in the choosing of the book, in the choosing of the subject matter that is going to be taught, he chooses for his student that which is going to be of maximum benefit for him. We shouldn't simply perpetuate systems because this is the way that it had been done. It has to be done in the way that is most beneficial for the student in terms of the need as it exists out there. Thereafter, you have the ikhlas in place, and you have chosen a good person, a good institute to receive your knowledge from. Then you embark upon knowledge. You embark upon your search, you engage in knowledge, and there's something important here. The first point was ikhlas. The second point was husnul ikhtiyar. Choose a very good location where you're going to receive your knowledge from. The third point is then ijtihad. I'm not speaking about the ijtihad where you become a mujtahid and a muqallid. I'm speaking about the ijtihad where you burn the midnight oil. فَمَنْ طَلَبَ الْعُلَى سَهِرَ اللَّيَالِ. Effort needs to be made. This ilm, Imam Suyuti says, إِنَّ هَذَا الْعِلْمَ لَا يُدْرَكُ بِالتَّمَنِّي وَلَا يُنَالُ بِسُيُوفِ يَا لَيْتَ وَلَوْ أَنِّي. This knowledge you cannot get simply by wishing. This knowledge you cannot get by saying, if only I was an alim. There is a way of becoming it, and for that you have to work hard. You have to work hard, you have to burn the midnight oil, spend so many more hours poring over those books than what the class presents. Class might be 4 hours, 5 hours a day. There's going to have to be something else that you do on your own. Every great alim of the past who has reached the heights, it has been on account of the fact that, yes, taken of his own personal time, made effort, and on account of that, Allah Ta'ala has raised him. Those who are not prepared to make an effort, to sacrifice time and effort, will not be able to reach those particular heights. So ikhlas, first of all. Husnul ikhtiyar, secondly. Good choice. And thirdly, ijtihad, working hard in that regard. And one very, very important thing.
This audio is brought to you by Muslim Central. Please consider donating to help cover our running costs and future projects by visiting www.muslimcentral.com/donate.